Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio today. We are going to speak with Justin Rowland of the Kentucky rival side, Ole Miss and Kentucky playing basketball tonight. 8 o'clock, is that right?
8 o'clock. Big game, huge game. Lots on the line.
Like what?
Nothing.
Neal's going to take you through all the things on the line for the next 58 minutes.
Let's see. If Ole Miss wins, they'll have a winning record in the SEC through 17 games. If they lose, they'll have a losing record in the SEC through 17 games.
Well, there's something to that.
There's something to that. I'm trying to come up with stuff. There's seeding in the SEC tournament on the line.
They haven't beaten Kentucky in a while. Could break a skid.
Could break a streak.
Whatever their home record would be in the league, I mean, there's something. They've lost some home games.
Feels like a stretch.
Not much there.
There's not much left. About it.
I'm hoping my computer doesn't crap out. I forgot a power cord, and I've just turned the dimmer down a little bit. So I think we're okay. But I'm just kind of having to squint the screen a little bit today.
You want to use this one?
I mean, maybe we'll see where it gets.
Let me know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just don't steal it.
Yeah, I have taken it a couple times accidentally.
You have
over the course of the time. So anyway, we're doing that. We're waiting on to see whatever happens from Tate Reeves' press conference this afternoon. If he nibbles into the COVID restriction pool or not, or what we're doing. So we'll talk about that as well.
Well, here's this comment.
Okay, was this from today?
This is today. This is 1 hour ago on the Twatter machine. He says today will be a major step. No, this is maybe his Facebook page. I don't know. Whatever. It's the governor of Mississippi. Today will be a major step in our fight against COVID. The vaccine is being rapidly distributed. Hospitalizations and case numbers are plummeting because of that. Our hospital system is not at the same level of risk. 1 year ago this week, I signed our first COVID order. Today, I am signing what I expect to be one of my last. It's time. Amen to that. Briefing here on Facebook Live at 2:30 to discuss this welcome change. Encourage all to watch! Exclamation
Oh, really?
point. Yes, sir.
So I didn't see that. That's fairly.
Well, I mean, you don't say all that and then deliver a dud. I wouldn't think. Let me rephrase.
I mean, don't. Whoa, yeah, whoa.
PR 101 is don't overpromise.
And that felt like.
Don't tell the people change is coming and then it's not change.
Yeah, we'll get into this in a minute. I like Andy, but there's no way the Ole Miss job is below Missouri and Kentucky. There's just not.
No, we can do the SEC coach.
Do we have the full rankings from him?
Can
sure somebody give me the full on the?
I'm sure we could find them.
It was on the podcast, so I need. Can somebody write out the 1 through 14 for us? We'll talk about that.
That would help.
We need material, so that would be fantastic. But while you guys are doing that and playing producer, we'll tell you about the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. Also the Blue Sky locations throughout Mississippi. Download the Speed Pass Plus app. Let it take care of you by earning points and saving money there with Blue Sky and the Oxford Exxon. Also pick up the lunch specials every single weekday. $5.69, 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink, and more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for our friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line, no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. I've been doing business with Corey now for, I don't know, a long time. 4 vehicles, 3 that we're currently driving. Corey's great. The people at Clark Ford are great. They go above and beyond on customer service. I know I've had people reach out asking about, is that really how the quotes work? Yep. Is that really how the quotes work? You just get a quote that's right to the bottom line, and you can use it moving forward to help yourself somewhere else, or you can get into a Clark Ford. And if you do, you'll love it. People will say, what do you mean when he says he wants to be your car guy, he wants to be your truck guy? Call the number. You'll start to find out. 662-257-1900. Also, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Justin Rowland will join shortly, later, whenever. And we'll talk about Kentucky-Ole Miss basketball. He's on the hotline, though. The hotline brought to you by Rafters Music and Food. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Be a great place tonight to go watch Ole Miss Kentucky. If you are not one of the 900 or so that have a ticket, you can go check that out. It's true. And then Saturday as well, Ole Miss Vanderbilt, Ole Miss baseball all week. You can watch that there. Get a burger, po' boys, appetizers, great beer selection, full bar, the whole deal at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and also in New Albany.
So 2:30 for whatever comes from that.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Ole Miss was 11th. I just didn't know who he had everywhere else. So I was curious what the rest of that was. I'll look on Twitter for a second and see if I can. Summons it.
I think there's 6 or 7 jobs that I think are clearly better than the Ole Miss job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the Ole Miss job higher than a lot of people. Like I think Alabama's the best job in the league.
He didn't have Alabama 1, I don't think.
Did he not?
I don't think so.
Well, he's wrong.
I thought I saw somewhere in the teaser.
Do you have Georgia? Because Georgia's a really good job. Florida's a really good job, though it's not as good as Alabama and Georgia, in my opinion.
Ari Wasserman and I ranked the jobs in the SEC. Alabama isn't number 1. The guy who has number 1 is under a ton of pressure, is what he writes. So maybe Georgia, Kirby,
I guess, or LSU. I don't think you
Can't
can
make
put
LSU
LSU the number
one.
1 job because I just don't think it is.
No.
It's up there. It's a great job, but it is that job has pitfalls. Here we go. He's got Bama.
Well, he said he didn't in the thing.
No, he didn't. Okay, so that's not right. Daniel's doing his rankings. I'm sorry.
Georgia's the best job in the conference and country based on his criteria.
You can make a very compelling argument for Georgia being the best job. I mean, you really can.
Yeah, sure.
Tons of money, huge alumni base, massive network. You're, an hour from Atlanta? You're in the East, not in the West. Lots of traditions, all that stuff.
I had the Athletic pulled up from the Mickey Callaway story earlier today. People that are interested might want to sit down before you read that one.
Did you read it?
I did, yeah.
That's a rough read.
Okay. People said he's got stuff in the Athletic about it, but I'm not seeing the rankings just off the top of my head. But anyway, we're kind of just rambling.
I'm looking for it.
Who's in Ole Miss's tier, in your opinion?
Okay, so I would put Alabama 1, Georgia 2. I think I would put LSU 3, Florida 4.
Yeah, Florida with A&M.
Yeah, because A&M's never proven it.
No. They should be on paper, but it just doesn't seem to work.
I would put Auburn 5 because they've proven it. I'd put A&M 6. And this is where I'm different than a lot of other people. I'm not sold on the Tennessee job the way other people are. Yeah, they won 20 years ago when they threw cash left and right and when national television was a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was no SEC network 20 years ago. So being on television every single week, the way Tennessee was significant. It was a big thing. You could go recruit the kid in New Orleans. I'm not even talking about Peyton. You could go recruit the kid in New Orleans, and part of your sales pitch was come to Tennessee and you're going to be on national television.
Sure.
Well, now everybody's on national television. Literally, the entire SEC can go all over the country and recruit kids going to every one of our games is on national television. So that's been negated. Tennessee's not a fertile recruiting area. You don't dominate Nashville when you're at Tennessee. Everybody else recruits Nashville. You certainly don't dominate Memphis.
No.
And then Eastern Tennessee doesn't have many prospects because you're getting into a different type of population. I would not put Tennessee there. So I think you can make an argument. The highest argument you can make for Ole Miss is 7th. And I think Ole Miss is in a tier with Tennessee, South Carolina, maybe Arkansas. And then after that, I think there's a tier. I think there's a Missouri
State,
Kentucky
it's
tier.
the everybody but Vanderbilt tier, and then
Vanderbilt's
at the bottom.
last. Yeah, Vanderbilt should quit. Someone should buy Vanderbilt out. And then with some of that, it comes down to how you what your criteria is. Is the job in terms of, okay, where's the best job to go make $5 million a year, not have a whole ton of pressure,
well,
cash in, because that's when to me the great jobs are South Carolina, Ole Miss, Kentucky, and maybe Arkansas.
And that's like Tony says here. This says they put Kentucky 5 from a coach perspective. No pressure to win a national championship.
Houston Nutt lasted at Arkansas for how long? 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years.
He didn't win jack. And had he not had the deal with the reporter and all that stuff, he might have stayed another 5.
Yeah, they were content with his 2 times in Atlanta when everybody else kind of sucked, and then they tied one more time.
Sure.
8-4 with McFadden, Jones, and Hillis in the backfield.
And we covered Houston. He's a mediocre coach.
Yeah, sure.
So that's a job that's in that tier. Bobby Petrino won there, and had Bobby Petrino not wrecked the motorcycle with the volleyball person and all that stuff, he might still be coaching there. So I'm not propping that job up. I don't think you can win a national championship at Arkansas, but I think you can become a 7/8 win program, make a ton of money, and live quite comfortably.
Sure.
I think you can do that at South Carolina. I think you can do that at Ole Miss. I don't know that you can do that at Kentucky, but at Kentucky they just would. You'll hear Justin say it: 6 wins, 7 wins. It's good. Get us to basketball season. Don't be horrible.
They've always wanted something to pass the time, be excited about, win some games, give us something to do.
If you want to take the analogy from what you said yesterday, I wouldn't disagree. It's kind of Ole Miss basketball.
Yeah.
Get us to baseball.
Don't suck.
Yeah. Don't bottom out.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
It's the Power 5 version of when you say, "Hey, the Olympic sports, don't bring the NCAA to town. Winning's great. We'd appreciate you guys doing that, but no negatives now. No negatives.
Yeah.
Let's not do that."
Don't have the NCAA on campus digging into your women's basketball and track programs, for God's sake. Nothing good comes out of that.
Yeah, that's a negative.
Because truth is, nobody really notices if you're horrible.
What they did, the coaches were taking the test. Women's basketball. Wasn't it like literally a coach taking an exam or something?
Whatever it was really bad.
What was that guy's name?
Oh, I can't remember.
Adrian Wiggins.
Was it? Okay.
It was Adrian Wiggins. Yeah. I went to his introductory press conference. He came from Fresno State, where he was from.
Oh, I did send you that, didn't I? I'm sorry. My apologies.
It was fun. Really had a big time.
I bet.
Because he never coached a game. They had the assistant or the interim or whatever did the actual season.
Oh, that's right.
Made that guy go like 0-18 in the league or whatever it was. It was like Brett Frank, I think was his name.
Oh. Then they hired what's his face?
Insel. Yeah.
Where's he now?
He's an assistant with his dad at Middle.
Oh.
Yeah. Nepotism's a powerful thing. So he's there. No, look, Daniel says, isn't A&M the richest program in the country? Yeah, they're like top 2 or 3, but they just don't win. Like everything, they're in Texas. There's tons of talent. Everything should be there, and yet they just can't put it together. And now we'll see what Jimbo does. Maybe they've made bad hire after bad hire after bad hire over the years. I don't know. But something is there that at least keeps you from putting them in that top tier. There's no doubt about it.
It's potentially a top 3 job, but it hasn't been one yet. And Jimbo had a really good year, and if he builds off that year, and we do this a year from now, we're probably having a completely different conversation.
If he does it 2 in a row.
But they haven't.
In a non-COVID year.
Since they've been in the league, they haven't exactly rocked the – they hadn't exactly shook the league up at all.
No, not at all. But I think that's what I'd say, though.
Got tons of money, though. I mean, they've got above-table money and under-table money.
There's just money.
Huge facility, close to Houston. I mean, there's a lot there.
And for all the cult talk, they don't seem to have the same internal manipulation like the University of Texas. There's at least a better system in place than Texas.
Yeah. Well, for whatever.
Because Texas is bad.
Texas, they can't get out of their own way. Although it appears that there is some of Sarkisian is trying to implement some of the Alabama.
Trying to save in this thing?
A little bit, and is having some degree of success.
They can't get out of their way with that song right now, showing up in the AP and USA Today every day. But no, even number 3, I think you're right. I think it's LSU there, but just yeah, okay.
Here's one thing: LSU's in such a weird state, and I can say that as a Louisiana guy. It's a weird state
In a negative way?
Yeah,
But you're the only game in town.
you are.
But now you don't get into North Louisiana and dominate it.
No, and the money in Louisiana can be weird. You can be. You're not just Walter.
Well, they've
Whiting
always
it.
been very sound politically and things in Louisiana. Everything's, anti-corruption and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, of
I know
course.
what you mean.
Yeah. I mean,
Huey and the boys, never anything that might get a little squirrely there.
Google Edwin Edwards and do some reading sometime.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. We're just kind of rambling, but that's kind of where we are. I feel like we're just waiting on 2:30 right now. I feel like that's sort of where we are.
Got a long wait.
We're not going to be sitting here.
Okay.
I'm just saying in general. I feel like
What's your prediction on what Reeves is going to do?
The thing that's going to be obsolete before this podcast actually gets posted?
Yeah.
I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go to 50%, and I think he's going to do something to soften the 6-foot rule. That's that is my prediction.
I think I agree. I think he's going to go to 50, and I think he's going to completely throw out the 6-foot language and make it ambiguous. Which, pardon my French here comes the shit show, and I'm in for it.
Over the language?
Yeah. Where
reasonable distances?
Reasonable distances. Which, can mean, frankly, for me, that's anything that just doesn't violate my personal space.
Do you feel like you're higher or the amount of personal space that you need, is it more or less than the average human, in your opinion?
Probably about average.
Okay, yeah.
I don't like
close talkers do bother me.
Close talkers bother me because I keep backing up and they keep coming at me.
Yeah. So,
but I don't mind people being close to me talking.
Yeah,
That's fine. I'm not at this point.
All right, so what we're going to pay bills for a minute. We're going to, if you're listening to the podcast version of this, you're going to get Justin Rowland here in a second. But if you are not listening to the podcast version of this and you're in our stream, you're going to get a pause, and then you're going to just get a break for a second, and then we're going to pay more bills, and we're going to come back and finish the show with you. That's what we're going to do. So just chill out for a minute if you're in the stream. But if you're in the podcast, we're going to go talk to Justin Rowland on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline in a second. Before we do, I'll tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting and understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We are also brought to you by Joey Erickson, Heron Gear Chevrolet in Jackson. Let him help you find the vehicle you're looking for at a price you can afford. Choose from a full selection of new Chevy vehicles or get a great deal on numerous brands of reliable pre-owned vehicles as well. Give him a call or a text at 662-571-2367. Tell him what you're looking for. Stop by 1685 High Street in Jackson to test drive that new or used vehicle you've been wanting and let him earn your business. Also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB also home to Casasas, the absolute best cash checking account with Casasa. OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000, refund ATM fees nationwide. They also offer online bill pay and mobile check deposit using the online app. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And we're brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss & Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi that's made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. That experience is unmatched, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth or by calling them at 662-287-1620. And we're brought to you by Alpha Specialties, located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. It's your trailer-specific professional. If you want to haul it, they can call it. They're the premium trailer dealership in Mississippi. They've got Load Trail. They also have Hallmark cargo trailers, which are perfect for hauling goods to markets and shows, ATVs to deer camp, hauling race cars, and much more. They've got a full selection of trailer parts and accessories, hitches, winches, straps, and more. They also do all types of truck accessories. And listeners can get 10% off a yearly trailer service and inspection at Alpha's Full Service Shop, where they can repair all types of trailers. So give them a call at 601-932-9798 or visit them at alphaofms.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com to check out the events page, where to eat, where to stay, do, and see, and more. Also, the double-decker bus tours coming back soon for the Fridays of home SEC baseball weekends. SEC play just a couple weeks away, so take advantage of that. You can make your reservation and take the tour of downtown Oxford. A lot more information coming your way, as well as some pop-ups and different things, as Oxford already kind of been in business, but getting back to business to a larger extent. So we'll have more to you on that regard soon. Visit oxfordms.com, again, /events. And now here's Justin Rowland on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Thanks to Justin for joining us. There are people in the stream getting to see how the sausage is made a little bit, as we just had like a 10-second pause. But nonetheless, we appreciate his time talking Kentucky. Again, Ole Miss and Kentucky, 8 o'clock tonight from the Pavilion. I almost said Vaught Hemingway Stadium. That would have been a story.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that was not what I was going to say tonight. But that's from the Pavilion, not from Vaught Hemingway Stadium.
Well, those would be some serious. Can you imagine the shot backgrounds on that? I mean,
I had to run through lots of things in my head. I went from Vaught Hemingway, no, Swayze, no, okay, the Pavilion, that one. That's what we're doing. So, nonetheless, the only thing working today, other than my brain is not, is Spark. It is powering the Clark Ford studio. Spark, NESPARC.com. You can also give them a call, 662-238-3159. Service people across rural communities. The Ignite's 100 Mbps. The Blaze, 1 gig. Phone service available. Parental controls, network security, and more. Again, that is nespark.com, 662-238-3159.
Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit and hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi. One size fits one at bluedeltajeans.com. They've been advertising with us for the past 2 years. We've always directed you to DM them to set up a time to get measured. But now, whether you're coming to Oxford or not, you can visit bluedeltajeans.com to get measured by their new virtual tailor and design your own jeans. Just for our podcast listeners, enter the discount code Rebel Grove. That's one word, all lowercase, Rebel Grove at checkout, and get 10% off your order. They're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I'm wearing my camo ones right this very moment. They're absolutely fantastic. You'll love yours as well when you go to the virtual tailor at bluedeltajeans.com. And we're brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue, your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylists hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, Duckhead, True Grit, and more. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson or therogue.com. You can also reach The Rogue at 601-362-6383. Or you can email them at info, that's info, at therogue.com.
So, everybody has money in the SEC now. So, I don't know really necessarily what we want to...
Vanderbilt says hi.
Well, okay, fair, yeah. Hard to argue that one, isn't it? They still play in their pirate ship or whatever it is. SEC revenues, though, a couple years ago, here in front of me.
Okay.
Ole Miss, out of the 13 schools reporting, because Vanderbilt does not report its numbers. They're a private institution.
Right.
So they don't tell you what they're doing. Ole Miss, 11th out of the 13 schools.
Ahead of State and
this is all sports. This is Southeastern Conference total revenue.
Yeah.
State and Missouri come in behind the Rebels. From 13 to 1, Mississippi State, $103.9 million. Missouri, $107.4. Ole Miss, $110.9. And then a pretty good jump here up. I mean, it kind of shows you what you're dealing with. Again, everybody's got paid, but some people are getting paid a lot more than others. Kentucky, $134.2. South Carolina 140.1, Tennessee 143, LSU 145, Auburn 147, kind of all there in a cluster. South Carolina, the most interesting one there, is from a monetary standpoint. They're sitting in that tier with Auburn and LSU and Tennessee. Florida 161, Georgia 176, Alabama 177, and then as we mentioned, the Texas A&M Aggies 212.
200 to almost twice the Ole Miss budget.
Yeah, almost twice the Ole Miss budget, and actually twice the Missouri and Mississippi State budgets.
Whew. I
mean, that is a different stratosphere. We talk about, hey, everybody's getting paid and everybody's got money, but no, we got some people are rich, some people are wealthy.
It's like the Pirates trying to compete with the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, it's cute and got some cash, but
you better be efficient.
Well, we've talked about that with Ole Miss for a long time. Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, you're competing against these schools. If you rank 18th nationally and you're 13th in the league, you're still 13th in the league.
I'd open up the Grove. I'd parcel that puppy off. I'd sell it.
Would you really parcel it?
Absolutely. Money. I'd make money.
I get it. I'm not as much of a fan on parceling the Grove, though. There's a certain organic nature to that you lose.
I mean, I don't do the Grove. Well, so if I did the Grove, I might have a different feeling.
I don't either.
I look at it, and all I see is cash. It's not a sentimental thing to me.
It's
so
not
I look
sentimental,
at it,
though.
And I see, like, you could parcel. You could make so much money. That goes straight into athletics. You can't have it both ways.
Well, you pick and choose where you do it. I mean, you don't have to necessarily.
But boy, you could really make money there.
How are you organizing the parcels? You making it where students have no ability to get parcels?
No, I'd give students some parcel ability.
How are they going to decide?
I don't know. I'd have to study it. I'd have to look at it, put a grid on it, and figure it out. But no, there would be a student area.
Is it going to be university tents that are certain sizes so you can't overstake your areas?
You would just have a spot. You'd have it
like the Gold Rush back in the day, or the Oregon Trail, like
sure.
Coming into was it maybe Far and Away with Tom Cruise, where you put your stake in your ground in your half acre?
Is it good?
It's he and Nicole Kidman. It's their other vehicle other than Days of Thunder.
So this is when they were together at this point.
I believe that was second, and they met it's about he was like an Irish peasant or something, and she came from the noble class, and you come to America and try to get your land. Yeah, Far and Away.
I'll have to check that out.
I mean, it's whatever. It's fine.
I'm deep into my Netflix series right now, so I don't have time for anything else. So
Are you ready?
Binge this. Oh yeah, it's really good. Shocked at how much I like it. The Queen's Gambit, for anybody who wants to know what I'm watching. Yeah.
What episode are you on?
Huh?
What episode are you on?
4.
And you're good? You like it?
Yeah.
You're really into it?
Yeah, I can tell there's going to be some moments that are about to get uncomfortable.
You think so?
Yeah, I can feel it. You already watched it?
It actually made me even read the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it came from a book from maybe the 80s, something like that. Very similar to the series. It runs very much parallel in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because it's set in the 60s and into the 70s.
Right. Yeah, a couple differences, but for the most part, it's.
But I don't know how I would make the money. I would put a grid together and sell it and make money, and I would put that money into.
Well, I mean, if you
I would put that money into football is what I would do.
I mean, if you
dorms, athletic dorms, academic dorms, I would step it up. I would create it. I would make it in such a way that the money was used transparently to improve facilities that made people who both attended the school and just came as fans happy.
If you recall this from right after he got the gig or right when the pandemic started or whenever it was, Parrish, I think is who it was, interviewed Keith Carter in his office, and Keith accidentally left up a grid on his whiteboard of what appeared to be the Grove being squared off. I don't know that there was proof of that, but that was the thing that I recall there being talk about at the time.
Look, here's the thing before anybody gets mad at me. You've heard me talk about this before. There's the ideal world and there's the real world, and those are two different things. In an ideal world, the Grove is this organic, feel-good, happy thing that people go and they celebrate and they enjoy getting reacquainted and all of those things. And everybody spills into Walt Hemingway and they cheer on the rebels and then they come back and they celebrate the glorious victory.
The Rockwellian version of this.
That ain't real. You have so many people who go to the Grove who aren't going to the game.
Yep.
I got to get their money too.
Oh, I mean, you and I were talking this morning about whatever Reeves does today, and I think tailgating being opened is the single biggest secondary thing that will create an attendance or not create attendance inside the stadium.
You literally think it's the difference in
millions of dollars.
10,000 season tickets?
I think that's possible as well. Yes, I do. I think it is. I think that number fluctuates a lot depending on tailgating availability. I don't really even disagree with you. I just, in my head, there's certain ways that I would want it to actually be played out. I don't feel like and I know there are other places on campus to tailgate. Frankly, a lot of families don't want to be in the Grove anyway. They want to be off somewhere else. But that's kind of my point is, my point is.
I make money on the circle too.
I mean, you can't grid off the whole damn campus.
Well, you could.
Would you like to tailgate at second base this evening? All right, $800.
See?
I don't want it to be some deal, though, where it's like, okay, the top 10 Rebel Rewards points earners get these spots. Like, there are people who I feel like have had their spots for so long. I do hate for that to be completely torn apart based off just simply a list of what the donor situation looks like.
I don't have a problem with that.
However and I don't know what that looks like.
And a lot of those people would ante up to keep their spots.
Sure, yeah. But how do you know, hey, that's so-and-so spot? That's a tough thing to do.
It's a tough thing to do. Yeah. It would not be done without a headache.
Oh, yeah.
But you would have to sell it to people as this is money that's going into making the product that you're here for even better. And I don't mean the football team as much as, although that would benefit as well.
But you mean just the product, yeah.
Come on, Vaught-Hemingway needs work.
Yeah.
I mean, if you walk in Vaught-Hemingway and you look at it and you look around, it needs work. It needs the kind of work that's going to take real money. You got to do you got to redo a weight room. They've already acknowledged, they're about to acknowledge all these things. The Manning Center needs to be not redone, but it needs stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make your job as attractive as possible, so that all the gnashing of teeth that we're going to do every year about is this the job Lane Kiffin leaves for? Where some of that gnashing of teeth goes away because you're like, well, if he leaves, it means we're winning and we hire the next dude, and the next dude is being pursued by a lot of people. How do you get to that place? The answer is money. It takes money. You can't do it with feelings.
I I read numbers. How do you get from 110 to 140? How do you get into that?
$30 million.
Yeah. How do you get there? How do you get here?
Create $30 million of revenues.
Because, this isn't even talking about the private money that just goes
I know.
through
That's what I'm saying.
wazoo.
It's one vehicle is football. In a league where everyone's competing against one another. It's an arms race. It's an arms race that never ends. Remember back in the day when we would go to games at places like back in the old days, you would see all these, everyone's building. You'd go back to South Carolina for the first time in years, and the facility looks totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a great example. They just dropped a ton of money on their facility. That's who you're competing against. I've said this so many times. When you're at Ole Miss, the one thing that's not ambiguous is who are you competing against?
Right.
Well, Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas, LSU, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. That is who you're competing against. It's not like opening a coffee shop somewhere going, I don't really know what our competition is. I don't know, are we really? No, you know who your competition is.
Yeah.
There's 6 of them dudes. That's who you're competing against. Those 6. And so you can get in your plane or buses or cars or whatever, and you can drive around to all 6 locales, and you can study them and go, that's what we're up against. That's what you're recruiting against. Because if they're winning the recruiting battles, they're beating you. You're going up against machines. And the only way to do that is to build your machine. Simple as that. Now, doing it's another thing. And so I look at it and think, is the Grove a potential revenue producer? And I think it is. And if it is one and you're leaving it empty, well, you got to justify why you're leaving it empty. And the answer is, well, it's sentiment.
Fluffy shark.
So when you write your check, you think when they write the checks over at Ole Miss that they just signed it sentiment, it'd work? Hey, we're not going to pay you this year. We're just going to tell you some sentimental stuff.
And maybe to start, you're parceling off the Walk of Champions. You know what I mean?
Sure.
These 40 spots that are, I don't know how many. I mean, hell, whatever. Might be 300. I have no clue. But
yeah, whatever.
You know, hey, here are the open areas.
Yeah.
Here's this. I don't know. An astronomical amount of money, David. He goes, do you have a guess as to how much money is spent by people that have tailgating companies put up their tent, et cetera? You can pay, I mean, we'll use 7 South. You can pay anything you want to pay depending on what you want done, whether it be a very basic package or whether you want the whole deal catered, the TVs hooked up, and the generators and the whole kazoo.
How intricate you want your
tailgate.
It's
like anything else. You can spend what you want to spend.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can go to the Ford dealership, Clark Ford, and you can get a used Fusion or you can get a loaded F-150. It's kind of up to you. But the more you get, the more you pay for. I bet I've made some enemies on this today. I'm sorry.
Think so?
Probably. There's some people that don't. There's some people that do not, and I get it, that say, hey, everything shouldn't be commercialized. Like I go to, back in the days when they used to let people go to Major League Baseball games, go to Wrigley, and the Wrigley experience is not the same as it was 15, 20 years ago when it was a little bit more nostalgic. It's a lot more corporate now. They're making more money. Just today, at the Cubs said, yeah, we might have money in the regular season to spend on a midseason acquisition. It depends on attendance and hotels. And to which I'm like, so open up?
Yeah. Well.
So we want to make sure we're on the right side of this. Okay.
I don't know where they are in this, so I mean, I really don't know what Ole Miss's thought process is on Grove and sectioning and different things. I mean,
you got to think that they're talking about it.
It's at least on the plan over there.
It's probably just one of those deals where
just in case, hey, what would this look like? What are we doing?
I'm going to guess there's somebody that has my mentality that's in that room on occasion when these things come up, and
let's at least have the conversation.
That person probably is hand-raised guy who goes, we keep saying we need to make more money. Here's a way.
What's the cost?
Oh, I don't know.
How much for a spot in a season of football?
See, I have no idea. I'm not in that market at all. I would have to, like, if you put me in charge of this, I would have to do some serious research, right away. I'd have to do some real market analysis, and
people are paying. I mean,
I'd have to dive in, Chase. It would take a little while to come up with some numbers.
I mean, people are paying thousands of dollars for stuff to be set up every year.
Sure.
So.
I mean, there wouldn't be a lot of labor associated with it.
No, hardly any.
Because I'm not.
My point is, what are people's budgets for these things? Or what's in my head? Yeah. Because you need the ability to get bigger or smaller spots too, right? I mean,
sure.
You don't just get one square. I mean,
sure, you could buy a certain number of
4,
square feet.
8, 12. How did that? Whatever that looks like.
I mean, I would think you'd be selling it by the square foot, right?
Oh, you think so? Yeah.
How many square feet are in the Grove?
11 acres. So, sorry. Isn't it 11? Am I right there?
I have no idea.
479,160 square feet.
In the Grove?
If it's 11 acres. I mean, I think it's 11 acres.
I wonder what you'd sell per square foot.
I mean,
$60 a square foot?
Oh,
for the season.
so you're making.
Dude, I'm trying to make coin. I'm not trying to make cash, petty cash. I'm trying to make money.
I mean, 479,000 times 60.
Avery says I was told there would be no math. Yeah.
I mean, dude,
What's that number?
it's 2.8 million. No. Is that really 28 million? 479,000 times 60. Yeah, 28 million.
Problem solved.
$28 million.
I'm going to give them money and a catfish. I mean, I deserve a statue. I'm kidding. A little bit, kind of, sort of.
Crowds are allowed. We don't know how big the crowds are going to be allowed after today in stadiums in Mississippi. High schools have gone to 50%, I'm told.
Avery says 60 a square foot is steep.
It does feel steep.
Okay. $59.99. I mean,
who says you won't bargain and do some work?
Yeah, I have no idea what the market is. I would have to, like I said, I would have to do real market analysis on what that's worth.
Yeah. No, I get it.
No clue. I just know that.
Yeah.
I know that I would have a hard time sitting in those offices in that building and talking about having to compete against what you're competing against and leaving revenue streams empty.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. 662-236-2222. They also offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions at the same time every single month on the same day to make it easy on you and make sure everybody gets the medicine they need when they need it. So go check out your local pharmacy. Again, that's Tyson Drugs on the Square in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford. 662-236-2222.
When you buy your plot of land, just enter the promo code Rebel Grove at checkout. Get 10% off.
It gets down to $52.99 at that point, right? Can we get some residuals on that? That'd be great. Can we get 4% of every purchase? That'd be awesome.
I'm in. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. Complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about traveling this summer, thinking about doing something, I don't know, at holiday time, or even if you're trying to book a 2022 trip for 2021 prices, you can do all of that. Those are great ideas. Get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget, let him give you some options, and know this, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is home to the Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services team. Get in touch with them today. They'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the Oxford Exxon Podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fees. And we're brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area in Ridgeland. It's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com, or you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They have the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. And we're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. Comer Heating and Air is the name you can trust. They bring more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience to Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. Whether it is your air conditioning system, your heating system, or both, get in touch with Comer, and they'll make sure it's running in tip-top shape. 662-801-1777 for all your heating and cooling needs.
So let's see, what else do we have? I'm not a basketball guy, but I'm intrigued by this story. I see it on ESPN this morning. David Fleming, Kobe Bryant, Jerry West, and the giraffe workout that changed NBA history.
That would be pretty intriguing.
Yeah, it's on ESPN. On the lead on that monumental day, the only thing Kobe Bryant carried with him was a basketball. It was early June 1996, on the morning of his now legendary pre-draft workout in Los Angeles, when a skinny, smiley Bryant, then 17, stepped out of the swanky shutters on the beach resort in Santa Monica, California, with his favorite basketball tucked under his arm. So, yeah, really a lot of detail here, talking about Jerry West and different stuff. So, interesting stuff.
Jeffrey Parrott says, Neal, I'm currently training for a marathon. Any advice since you've done one? Yeah, get a running plan.
Follow it religiously.
Follow it religiously.
Don't overdo it when you think it's stupid that day.
Yes. The day that it says run 3 miles, run 3 miles. Don't run 5 because you're like, 3 isn't enough. There's a reason. If you skip a day, it's okay, but don't skip your long runs at the end of the week. You got to do those. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. Practice your hydration from the very beginning. And the last couple of months, you got to make sure you get your rest. You got to try to sleep. If you're going through really stressful things in your life, you probably need to try to eliminate those. That doesn't help you any. That's probably my advice.
There is a certain, hey, this is going to be a mental toll, so pick the right time in your life for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an extra that takes a lot of time, resilience, frankly, family buy-in.
Yeah. Yeah.
20 miles on a Saturday morning, hey, gone 3 hours, 4 hours, depending on what your times are.
And if I'm running a first one, I run a flat course. And I don't get obsessed with my time on the first one. Unless there's some reason that you're obsessed with your time. Because it really doesn't matter.
Looks like the first state to do something, Texas, just now reading from abc13.com.
Okay.
Lubbock. It's now time to open Texas 100%, said Governor Greg Abbott this afternoon, signaling the ease of COVID-19 restrictions effective next Wednesday. All businesses of any type are allowed to open 100%, and the mask mandate will be lifted, the governor stated as part of his executive order to rescind previous orders.
Can you say that again slowly so I can just sort of enjoy it?
Effective next Wednesday, all businesses of any type are allowed to open 100%, and the mask mandate will be lifted, the governor stated as part of his executive order to rescind previous orders. While Abbott acknowledged the virus isn't going away, he insisted the state is far better equipped to fight COVID-19 than a year ago thanks to vaccines. Abbott is currently talking about lifting coronavirus limits. You can watch. Oh, sorry, we're like doing they're adding it as it goes. Sorry.
It was erotic.
So, yeah, reading that now from. I was looking for more updates, but I'm not seeing much else at the moment. So.
What's the Twitter reaction to that?
Nothing really yet. Well. I'm having a hard time finding news. Let's put it that. That includes restaurants and bars, by the way, it appears. Yeah.
I'm going to need a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea what everybody else is doing. I have no idea what's in other states, but...
Fauci's now predicting a vast surge of infections.
Yeah, I don't follow enough news, people.
Look, here's the thing. The vaccines are being, even Dobbs himself today talked about thousands of vaccines being available in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw the list today. It was pretty far down.
If you want to be vaccinated, you can get vaccinated. And once people are vaccinated, that's about as far as we can go in terms of protecting people. My opinion. Someone will have to explain to me how if you're vaccinated, what else can you do? If being vaccinated doesn't allow you to get out and do whatever it is you're going to do, then why did you get vaccinated?
Couple caveats here. Abbott says county judges in regions may, quote, may use COVID mitigation strategies if coronavirus hospitalizations rise above 15% of an area's total bed capacity for 7 straight days. But now I believe that means only COVID, like that would take a pretty good bit, I think, in most places. But nonetheless, that's the one thing I'm seeing there. Anyway, that's the news.
I'm looking for a specific reaction here
From a certain person?
Yeah. Just for my own entertainment more than anything else.
Okay.
I'll share it with the crowd if I see it.
Okay. Of my followers, I'm only seeing one frustrated person. the former social media director at Rivals.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. She's a really nice person.
She is.
Yeah, my Twitter's not.
Yeah, nothing's really going crazy yet. So I don't know. We'll see. 2:30 for this thing. We'll obviously have reaction tomorrow on the show with whatever comes to be from it. We'll see what Ole Miss's movement is once this thing happens as well. Again, right now I really don't know. I mean, I've got my suspicions. I've heard a lot of things. I think I know eventually what happens, but I don't know what is in this specific one today. So we'll see where that goes.
Real quick, I will tell you that we've been brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry. It's located at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, so much more. It's all there at Lammon's Fine Jewelry. LammonsFineJewelry.com, 662-234-2777. We're also brought to you by our friends at Muddy Water Camo, MuddyWaterOutdoors.com, where you can still get the Tri-Zone heated jacket or vest. Buy one, get one free. Buy one of those My Charge portable battery chargers, and you get another one for free as well. It's an awesome jacket, awesome vest, whether you're soccer games or you're getting out to Swayze, where it looks like things are going to open up at some point. Still some chilly evenings ahead out at Swayze. Can be the coldest place on earth. Swayze can. So can wherever a youth soccer event is.
Swayze Field is 10 to 15 degrees colder than whatever is outside the stadium once you step in. That is the word.
So you would enjoy that Tri-Zone heated jacket or vest. So buy one, get one free there at MuddyWaterOutdoors.com.
So we will, again, have reaction for whatever comes from that. Also, again, Ole Miss, Kentucky basketball tonight, 8 o'clock from the Pavilion at Ole Miss. I think it's the official name. So nonetheless, those are the topics that we will discuss tomorrow. Appreciate Justin Rowland for jumping on in the podcast version of this here show and all you guys in the stream. So take care. Have a good day. We'll talk to you again on Wednesday.